a lot of Americans also dealing with a cooking conundrum. They're looking ahead to Thanksgiving dinner, deciding whether to stay at home and cook or simply head out to eat. With the cost of Thanksgiving staples rising, the tipping point might be higher than you'd expect this year. Joining us with more is Courtney Schmidt, Wells Fargo Food and Agribusiness Industry Advisory Group. And Courtney, you've put out a pretty interesting report here about how much more Americans are going to have to pay for some of these Thanksgiving staples, starting with the turkey.
Yes, absolutely. Expect to pay more for your turkey this year. We're looking at costs for the turkey to be up roughly 23% is what we're expecting compared to what you paid for last year. So get ready to pay a little bit more.
I mean, give us a breakdown here. There's certainly a lot that goes into a Thanksgiving meal. And you know, I have to say, I was kind of surprised when I saw your report that said it might actually be cheaper to go out and eat instead of cook at home. So break down the cost for us and how you make that comparison.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you're like me and you hate having to clean up dishes, this actually might be the year for you to go out and eat. And so how we kind of looked at that, we looked at the CPI data. And when you look and see how that CPI data has grown this year, you actually see that restaurants have not increased their cost as much as you've seen in the grocery store. And that's for a couple of different reasons. Certainly grocery stores can raise their costs, or mostly food costs, and they've been able to pass that along quicker. Restaurants have different things such as overhead, rent, different things like that that play into it. But what that just means for you and I is that it might be the year to go out and eat.
We're talking about everything from cranberries to potatoes also being more expensive. We've heard from so many of these restaurant businesses about trade downs that are happening from customers. In terms of Thanksgiving itself, what have you learned about how much families are willing to put up this year, how much they're willing to invest in the meal? And what does that tell you about sort of the choices at play as they have to deal with higher costs?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's definitely different things you can do. It's still a good value to eat your turkey. When you look at it pound per pound and compare it to other proteins, turkey is still a really good value out there. You're able to feed a really large crowd with turkey. So still consider that turkey on your plate. Think about different items such as sweet potatoes this year. Sweet potatoes have actually had a good harvest. We have a surplus out there compared to your white potatoes. So maybe think about doing sweet potatoes. Also, think about canned versus fresh. I know everyone, canned cranberries can sometimes get a bad rap, but that might be where your value's at this year. The cranberry crop for the fresh saw some quality issues. So really some of your value is in your canned vegetables this year. So there's different things you can do to kind of make your Thanksgiving more affordable for cooking at home.
Okay, canned over fresh. Not sure I like the
Yes.
sound of that, but certainly some trade-offs that are happening in the face of inflation. Wells Fargo Food Agribusiness Sector Manager Courtney Schmidt, appreciate your time this morning.